Hey everyone, welcome back. Today's video is all about the Tycoon tomato plant, which has been an absolute superstar in our garden this spring and summer, and by far my favorite plant we have growing right now. So if you haven't heard about it, it's definitely time to take note because this is one you're going to want to grow soon. So let's get gardening. All right, here is our Tycoon tomato plant. So let's start out with a little bit of history on the plant. It was released in 2011 at the San Antonio Livestock Exposition, and it's been tested since about 2007, 2008, so it's still a relatively new variety. First off, when you're growing tomatoes, you need to know that there's two different types. You can either have determinate or indeterminate, and the Tycoon tomato plant is a determinate variety. So that means that it grows to a certain size and then it stops, and it produces all of its tomatoes around the same time. So this is a good plant for someone who wants to harvest all their tomatoes and can them, or maybe make sauces or freeze them, because you're not going to get tomatoes all summer long. They're probably going to be ripening around a 2 to 3 week period. So I've been harvesting tomatoes for about 2 weeks, so I'm sure the rest of these tomatoes are going to start turning red pretty soon, and that'll probably be it for the summer. So I actually really like that about this plant. I'm not having to wait for it to produce tomatoes all summer, especially when it gets super hot. They have them all done and I can make sauces and can with them, so that's really nice. I also really like that it's not super huge. This would be a great plant for someone who has a small space or maybe just a patio. You could definitely put it in a container and keep it in a container on a patio because it's not going to get too large. So the other variety of tomato plant you can get is called indeterminate, and that means it keeps growing and it produces tomatoes all season long. So this plant next door is a big beef tomato, and this is an indeterminate variety. As you can see, it is quite a bit larger than the Tycoon tomato plant right here. This is the big beef. It's huge. I really need to prune it, and that's something else that you probably need to do with an indeterminate variety, is to prune them because they'll get ginormous. There is a trellis under there, but you just can't see it because it's totally overgrown it. So this may not be a good option for someone who has not very much space. This is a good option for someone who has not very much space or just maybe wants to use their space in a different way. So I really like that about this plant. In terms of care and maintenance for the Tycoon tomato, I bought this as a transplant from our local nursery, and I definitely recommend that if you're looking to grow tomatoes. It's easier to grow them as transplants, and also one plant can feed an entire family, so you don't need to have a whole package of seeds. You just need one plant and you're probably good to go. They do need full sun, and I planted this in early March, and of course we live in zone 9A. This was kind of around springtime for us. You definitely want to plant them after any threat of frost or freeze. And then I fertilized it with a local fertilizer from, again, our local nursery. I don't have any sort of special tomato fertilizer that I used, and it seems to be doing really well with just the normal stuff I use around the garden. They can get to be about 3 to 4 feet tall and 2 to 3 feet wide. This one doesn't look like it's gotten quite that big, especially height-wise. It may have gone close to 2, it's definitely 2 feet tall, but I like that it's not super large. So I definitely recommend to trellis them because I have noticed that tomatoes that are on the ground are more prone to getting bugs and other issues, but the ones that are up high seem to not have as many problems. So what I really loved about this plant is that the big thing is we've had crazy weather this spring. Seems like it's been raining nonstop. I know that's not totally true, but it's rained a lot this spring, and it's been totally cool with it. A lot of the other tomato plants that I have, I'm growing 3 or 4 different other varieties, and I've had issues with all the other varieties of them cracking or splitting and having a lot of bug issues, and I have had 0 issues with these. I've had no splitting, no cracking, pretty much no bug issues, and they've all tasted really good. The other thing I really like about this tomato is that they get really big. So here's one right here. This guy seems pretty big. I read online that they can get up to about a pound, and I've had one that was a little over 15 ounces, so pretty much almost at a pound, and they've all been around 13 to 14 ounces, so they definitely make a statement. They're really pretty and they look really cool, and I like that they're really large. Taste wise, I would say they taste really good too. They're not anything too acidic or too sweet. I would say they're right in the middle, and I've really enjoyed growing them. I've made a couple sauces already, and I'm gonna make some salsa later, but they've done great and when I've been cooking with them. And they're also great fresh, just on a sandwich or with burgers. So I would definitely recommend them. They've been really good. So I've got a few that are starting to turn red down here. Maybe in a few days they'll be ready to pick, but really haven't had any bug issues or any other issues like that. So I have some that I picked earlier this week inside. I'm gonna go show you what they look like when I cut them open. All right, here is our beautiful Tycoon tomato. As you can see, it's a lovely red color. I actually picked this a few days ago and let it ripen up on my counter because I seem to have a lot more bird and bug issues if I let it ripen up on the vine. So this has worked out pretty well for us. So I'm gonna go ahead and weigh this. It's just over 14 ounces, so this is definitely a hefty tomato. It's really nice and firm, and as you can see, it's definitely wider than it is tall. So I want to show you another. This is a big beef tomato for comparison. This one's definitely a lot taller than the Tycoon, just for comparison purposes. So I'm going to go ahead and cut into it. All right, cutting into our tomato now. That's really a pretty tomato. So here's what it looks like on the inside. It's really pretty. This one probably needs to ripen up just a little bit longer, but it still looks okay. I think that these taste really good fresh. You can eat them on burgers or just on the side with your dinner with some olive oil and salt. Or you can make salsa or tomato sauce. So they have a lot of uses. I would say the taste is definitely right in the middle. It's not too acidic, it's not too sweet. It's a really great taste, and we've really enjoyed eating them. Well, that's all I have for today. I hope that you guys enjoyed learning more about the Tycoon tomato plant. It's definitely been a really fun plant to grow, and I think you will not be disappointed if you have it in your garden. So I hope y'all enjoyed this video. If you did, please give me a like and subscribe, and I hope y'all have a great rest of your day, and I'll see y'all again soon.